Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're discussing the exciting world of teamwork, rhythm, and maybe even a little bit of a mythical creature energy. Our guest today has a truly unique story to share, one that involves paddling in perfect sync with a crew, the splash of oars, and the majestic presence of well, you'll hear about it. Please welcome Charlotte to the show. Welcome, Charlotte.
Hi, everybody. Hi, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Um, I'm living in Portland, Oregon, and I'll be talking about the exciting sport I do on our Willamette River that runs right through Portland. Yeah, just a little bit about me. I'm a retired mental health professional. I've raised 3 kids, have a bunch of grandkids, do a lot of different activities, love to volunteer mostly with refugee families, but I like doing lots of different kinds of things. One of my passions for many years has been dragon boating, and most people have never heard of dragon boating, so I'll just talk a little bit about what dragon boating is. Has not a whole lot to do with dragons, actually, except that in Asia where it started, it does have something to do with dragons because it's an annual celebration of the dragon, which has all kinds of mythical meaning. And the dragon boats actually, when they're all dressed up for racing, have a big dragon head in the front of the long boat and a dragon tail in the back. They're quite beautiful. If you want to see a picture, you can Google them. The dragon boats that we practice in, they don't have the head and tail on them for everyday practice. We only use those during races. But that's dragon boating. It's getting 20 people on a boat, 10 on each side, all paddling exactly in sync, pulling the same water in a most powerful way that you can to make the boat go forward as fast as it can. And they're big, heavy boats, so it takes a lot of coordination to get them moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to live in the Pacific Northwest, and that was the first time that I ever saw a
Oh,
dragon
okay.
boat. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then I found out it was like a really big thing.
Yeah.
And it really takes a lot, a lot of coordination and like physical, I mean, just everything. So I'm really excited to talk to you about this because I
Yeah.
haven't done it. I've just seen it. And so, yeah, just looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah.
So, dragon boat paddling has really become a key part of your routine. Again, going out on the Willamette River about 3 times a week. So, what is it about dragon boat that initially drew you in and made you want to dedicate so much time to it?
Well, I found it completely by accident. I was a runner for many, many years, and I was running along the Willamette River, one of my favorite runs, and I saw this big group of women all stretching and exercising. So I hesitated and watched for a minute and noticed they were all going down to a boat. And I thought, oh, wow, does that look great? And I asked one of them, and she said, well, we're a group of women, all of us over 40, and we're practicing to do a dragon boat race in Hong Kong. And I thought, oh, where do I sign up? Can I do it? Is it too late? She said, no, we have 6 weeks before we go. You're already fit. If you're willing to practice really hard for 6 weeks, you can go with us. So I did. And I went with them, and I've been hooked ever since. And that was quite a few decades ago. I was in my mid-40s at that time. And I actually worked out with this all women's team for many years. And then, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I retired and went to a mixed team of most of us are over 60, some well over 60 years old team. And I practice now 3 times a week on the river. Since we're retired, we practice 9 o'clock in the morning, sometimes with working people, you don't have that nice practice time. You've got to get up and practice at 6 a.m. or 7 p.m. at night, but we practice at 9 in the morning. And it's just become a really wonderful part of my life. I love the routine.
Wow, that sounds great. And I love the flexibility that it offers to whether you're working or not working. It just,
Yeah.
It sounds great. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I believe you said there's 20 people on a boat. So
Right.
that's a pretty large group of people. So what's it like kind of coordinating all of those people? Because it's a pretty large team to me. And then can you describe like the energy and the dynamics within your group?
Ah, good question. Okay. Well, actually, there's more than 20 because on any practice day, I'd say closer to 60 people show up.
Wow.
There's a lot of people who love this sport. They get hooked on it, kind of like I am. But we meet at a certain time, like I said, 9 o'clock in the morning down on the river, and then we use three, say, for example, three boats, 20 people per boat. Um, it's a very organized sport. We have a caller who stands in the front, a tiller who does the direction in the back.
Mhm.
We have a board, we have dues, we have a way to deal with new people who come in so that we can teach them the technique. So it's very organized, but it's kind of loose and flexible as well, which I love that about. You don't have to show up. You
Hmm.
can simply decide I'm not in the mood today,
Mhm.
and it's okay because there's always somebody else who can sit in the bench. So it's very nice. You can take out 16 people, you can take out 20 people on a boat. You don't have to have a full boat. But anyway, we all find the seat we want to sit in, the bench we want to sit in. It kind of depends. We have a recreational boat that the whole goal is just to have fun,
Mhm.
really just to have fun. We still want everybody in time and working, getting a good workout, but there's not much push on that boat.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be the fun boat, but you can still get a very good workout. Another boat is the workout boat. And if you get on that boat, beware because they're going to work you. You're not going to get any breaks.
Yeah.
You're going to work for an hour and get a really good workout. And then the other boat is the technique training boat. So that anybody can be on that. If you feel like you've gotten a little sloppy in your technique, you get back on that boat and learn some things, especially new people. It's a wonderful boat to be on to get really good coaching. We have excellent coaches. So,
Mhm.
um, but that's the way we do it. We get on the boat, we start right on the nose. It's a very punctual sport. We get out there, we paddle for half an hour down the river and have a break
Mhm.
and announcements on a beautiful part of the Willamette River. We have a nice break, give announcements. People tell a joke or two, which gets people laughing. People are in good spirits, and we paddle back.
Mm.
It just works. It
Yeah.
works because people have been doing it a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's fun. And that area is so beautiful too.
It
So
is really pretty. Yeah.
it is. It is. So Dragon Boat is like a timing sport, right? And so I'm just wondering, can you elaborate on the synchronization required and how that feeling of everybody being in sync contributes to the experience?
Oh, good question. Yeah, it is totally a timing sport. If you're out of time, it's not going to work. And new people are always out of time because that's a hard thing, but it's the most vital thing you have to learn. But that's okay. Um, Timing is important because what you want to do with your paddle is be pulling the exact same water that's coming alongside the boat. So in the first bench of the boat, you've got people, the strokers, pulling that water, passing it to bench 2, 3, 4, and you're pulling, you're using
Got
the
it.
energy of the pull of that water all together. So if somebody has their paddle sticking way out,
Mm.
they're not even pulling the same water. It doesn't work.
Mhm.
So we teach people to pull the same water using the exact same stroke,
Wow.
which is a body mechanics thing to
Mm.
really maximize the efficiency of the paddle face against the water and pulling it. So the caller in the front will look down the boat and see, ooh, wow, bench five's having issues. They're not really in time. And there'll be some real encouraging remarks about, let's get in time, let's, pay attention to the person in front of you. And usually people time it up right away because they know how important that is. So that spirit of everybody working as one, which it really kind of feels that way. There is no individual. You are kind of working as one, this big kind of cog. You're all important,
Yeah.
but no person's more important than the other.
Mhm.
And that's what people love about it.
Yeah.
It's the team.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So I'm curious, a little bit off the point, but are people paddling and then because of the experience or their skill, then they become the person in the front or the tiller, or does it just rotate? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, good question. Not everybody wants to be a caller, and we don't make people be callers.
Okay.
Thankfully, enough people want to do it as a contribution. Most people want to be out there to exercise,
Mm.
but we have to have people in the front of the boat calling. So like tomorrow morning, I'm calling
Mm-hmm.
on our boat. Yeah, I'm going, oh no, I won't get my exercise, but that's okay because I have lots of fun in the front of the boat calling. So it's just part of being the team, part of being the team. But not everybody has to do it. They help in other ways. They might be on the board. They might, arrange social outings or something. So everybody contributes. We make it work.
Nice, nice. That's good. Um, so it seems like you found some team camaraderie. And I know you had talked about it's kind of almost similar to other sports that you've been involved in. So what are some of the unique aspects of the camaraderie within a dragon boat community that stand out to you?
Well, I think like all team sports, you're working together
Mhm.
and there's kind of this we feeling, we.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're racing out, we go to races outside of our city, and then there's this real sense of our team, and we've practiced really hard, and there's pride in what we're doing. But even without the racing, there's still this team camaraderie because we're working toward a common goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for all of us to get stronger, to all of us to have that sense of well-being, which you get from doing a sport like dragon boating. There's a great sense of well-being when you stay physically fit and you work together. And I think like a lot of sports, it offers a lot of things to kind of banter and talk about after you're finished.
Mm-hmm.
We paddle rain or shine, so it rains a lot in Portland. We paddle every time it rains, we're out there with our rain gear. And actually, I think that builds camaraderie. There's something about looking around in the boat and seeing other soaked people with big smiles on their faces, and we're saying, what's wrong with us? This is crazy. We're nuts. And laughing because we love it so much.
Yeah.
You could call it a positive addiction that we're out there
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the weather. So it's just the unity that comes from enjoying something so thoroughly together.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah, yes, definitely. I can imagine because when I see runners out and they're running in the rain, I'm like, what are you doing? And here you would be in boats in the middle of the water. I'm like, really, what are you doing? So that's great.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned about like becoming stronger and faster as a common goal. So I'm wondering, is there any training that goes in like outside of Dragon Boat? Is there anything that you have to do to kind of be ready, like strong enough, fit enough, etc.?
Yeah, because to stay in a practice for a full hour, you have to have a certain level of fitness.
Mhm.
Most people, especially people over 60, it's really hard to just walk off the streets and say, oh, I want to do that. That looks like fun. We welcome everybody. They
Mhm.
can try,
Yeah.
and they do. And we say, if you have to pull out, that's okay, no problem. If
Mhm.
they stay with it, they get stronger and stronger and stronger because they're getting a really good workout out there, and their bodies will accommodate that eventually. Not everybody finds that they want to continue.
Mhm.
Uh, I'd say the majority of people who try it and stay with it love it.
Yeah.
But yes, we encourage people to do other things to stay fit. Going down to the river 3 times a week and getting a full hour of exercise 3 times a week will increase the fitness level, of course. But doing other things, like we encourage people to do yoga, stretching, Pilates. A
Mm.
lot of our team members are also very active. They bike to practice. We have a big group of people who bike there,
Mm.
um, or ski in the winter, or do other sports. A lot of people walk to practice. They walk a mile, practice, walk a mile home. So it's a very active group, and people are encouraged to just stay active so that they can be really fit on the boat, because you definitely enjoy it more. The
Mhm.
more fit you are, the more you enjoy the mastery that comes from that.
Right, right, definitely. Yeah, and hopefully less injury because your body's used to moving and all of that.
Absolutely, it's important to do stretching. We actually have a small group that before we get on the boats, do stretching exercises and to music. It's quite fun.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. So you had mentioned that you feel like being in the sport, it's really fulfilling 6 basic needs. And so
Mm,
I'm wondering if you could maybe share a couple of those needs. You don't have to mention all 6, but if you could mention a couple of those needs and how your involvement in Dragon Boat helps you to satisfy them.
okay. Well, one that comes right to the top of my head is being outdoors. I'm a huge outdoor fan. Um, and being outdoors and in nature is a huge need for me. It's just taking care of myself. I need that time. So being on the river, which I love being on the river, it meets that need for sure.
Mm.
That's one. And the need for friendship and social support is another one that's really, really important to me. And you do get to know people really well when you see them 3 times a week and you're enjoying something together. There's plenty of time to socialize before and after. And we often do things off the water as well, which enables you to get to know people on a deeper level. And that's a very strong need that I have for friendship and social support.
Mhm.
Um, and then the obvious exercise. I have a great need to be physical, to move my body, and it meets that need also.
Mhm.
Um, and laughter.
Mhm.
It's a great place to laugh. It's a real fun team. So, like I mentioned, telling jokes, we have some great joke tellers, and we tell jokes. And it's just, to me, having a good belly laugh, even at a corny joke,
Yeah,
is really fun.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'd say those are a couple of my needs that for sure get met by dragon boating.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That's great. Yeah, that's really good. Um, Now, from my understanding, you finish your practice, if you will, and then there's a waterfront cafe that you
Yeah.
might go to. So, how does that, how important is that social aspect and the conversations that you have with your team after being on the water?
Yeah, I'd say it's real important. We have this wonderful spot. We call it our clubhouse. It's called the Little River Cafe, plug for Little River.
Oh,
Um, they're a wonderful, wonderful cafe that opened their door to us. And we buy coffee. Some people get breakfast or a snack after practice. And it's a good place to just hang out. We don't all sit down. Sometimes we stand outside the cafe in little clusters, little groups, and just talk. You
mhm.
know, how was your weekend? What'd you do? And follow up with people on things that they're dealing with, going through, fun times that they've had. So it's a time for sharing and a time for getting to know each other a little bit more, and a time for continuing with sometimes bantering if something funny has happened in practice. And I think the fact that, most of us are well over 60, it's a time to kind of be with people in the same stage of life
Mhm.
who are sharing many of the same kind of transitions, things they're getting used to about aging, things they're dealing with, their grandkids, their grown adult children. Um, they're trying to find meaningful work to do, volunteer work. It's a great time for sharing of resources and support with each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, is there a place, like online? How do people find out about whether it's your group or other dragon boat groups? Do you know if there's a website or anything like that?
Well, I know here in Portland, there's definitely a website. There's a whole Dragon Boat organization. It's the umbrella organization because there's many, many teams in Portland, especially at Rose Festival time. We have a big Dragon Boat Festival, which is fabulous. But there are many teams that are all year long. You would find ours just, our name is Golden Dragons,
Mm,
referring to we're in our golden years. I think that's how that got started many years ago. But you could find us online that way, just looking up Golden Dragons. And we have a very nice website that talks about when we practice and how you come down and join us. And we're an extremely welcoming club. So
great.
we keep a nice face to the public by keeping our website up to date. We have a couple wonderful volunteers who do that. But I think there's organizations in many, many cities,
Mhm.
even Phoenix. You
Hmm.
wouldn't think they'd have a dragon boat organization, but they do.
Wow.
They have a lake where they dragon boat. So if people are interested, in larger cities, the resources are out there for getting on a boat and trying it out.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much. This has been a really good conversation. I've learned a lot about Dragon Boat, just in
Good.
general, and it includes athleticism and camaraderie, and just sounds like a lot of fun. So, um, to any of the listeners, if you want more information about dragon boating, or a team in your area, I would check that out online. I will also add in the show notes, the page for the Golden, tell me,
Golden Dragons.
thank you, Golden Dragons. Okay, I want to make sure I said it right. And just thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Turtle Optimist podcast. We love bringing these great stories and conversations. And until next time, keep paddling forward in whatever you do.